listen up. There's this wild story going around that's either super funny or kind of creepy depending on how you see it. Imagine this, Meghan Markle standing next to the Queen, the actual Queen of England, and she turns to Harry and says, "Who's that guy next to your grandma?" The guy she's asking about? Prince Andrew, the Queen's real son, Harry's uncle. And get this, Meghan supposedly had no idea who he was. She didn't even call the Queen the Queen. To her, it was just Harry's grandma. That's how out of the loop she was with royal stuff, at least at first. But when you start connecting the dots, things get weird super quick. Okay, let's go back to a chilly night over 10 years ago. A British reporter says he met Meghan for drinks. She wasn't famous yet, just a girl trying to become an actress in the UK. He says Meghan was quiet, chill, and really wanted to get noticed in Britain. During their chat, she supposedly talked about her divorce and how hard dating was. She even mentioned Ashley Cole, a famous soccer player from Chelsea and England. When the reporter brought up Ashley's messy divorce rumors, Meghan's face supposedly froze, like she was shocked. Now, here's the funny part. People joke that if Meghan had dated Ashley Cole instead, Harry might have avoided all this drama. But that's just the start. The real big deal is a guy named Yuan Elash. Sounds like a nobody, right? But he's super rich and really close to Prince Andrew. Not as famous as Epstein, but still part of that super fancy, secret rich people club. Rumor has it, it wasn't Epstein who got Andrew into fancy trips to Thailand. It was Yuan. And guess who else might have known this billionaire? Meghan's college sorority. Yup, that group was known for hanging out with powerful guys. And Yuan was one of them. Some of Meghan's sorority friends say she told them she went to Thailand in 2001 during a school break and hung out with rich people. The dates match up way too close to Andrew's shady trips. One person even said Meghan met cool people on a Mediterranean yacht trip, which sounds crazy. But it gets wilder when you hear Epstein's girlfriend, Karina Shulio, was on that same boat, along with a woman who looked a lot like Meghan. That's a big whoa moment. And here's something even weirder. Meghan's school records show she went to Argentina for a 5-week job at an embassy, which she's talked about before. But she never mentions the 3 months she spent in Spain right after that. Her university says she was in a program there, but Meghan, not a word about it. No stories, no pictures, no Spain changed my life posts. Nothing. That's strange because studying in Spain sounds way cooler than doing paperwork in Buenos Aires for 5 weeks. So, where was she really during those months? Some say she was traveling around Europe and the Mediterranean, often on yachts. That's a fancy life for someone who wasn't making big bucks yet. And that's when people start asking questions. How did she pay for all this? Who was she hanging out with? And why is there almost no proof of those years? The story keeps going, but it's already feeling less like royal gossip and more like a mystery show on Netflix. And when Hong Kong enters the picture, things get even crazier. Hong Kong, late 2012. Meghan was there, supposedly for her TV show, Suits. But here's the odd thing. Suits wasn't a huge deal yet, and Meghan wasn't a big star on it. She barely had any lines, just walking through scenes. But somehow, she was flying business class, hanging with important media people, and being treated like a big deal. She even did an interview with Diva Universal, but that video, gone. People tried to find it, but it's like it never existed. In that interview, she supposedly said royalty was around. Not just any royalty, but Prince Andrew specifically. Guess what? Andrew was in Hong Kong at that exact time. But there's no official proof they were at the same event. Still, people who were there say they were at the same parties, eating in the same fancy VIP spots. One reporter even said his interview with Meghan was the best he ever did, which is weird since he's talked to way bigger stars. What made Meghan so special back then? There's more. In 2013, Meghan shows up at a fancy gala for Novak Djokovic's foundation. It was packed with stars like Naomi Campbell, Anna Wintour, Goldie Hawn, and Tommy Hilfiger. Prince Andrew was supposedly there too, but not on the official guest list. Why? Because he wasn't even supposed to be in the United States. His official trips had him in Japan, Vietnam, and Indonesia. But later, people found out Andrew was in New York for almost a whole month, sneaking around, and it matched up with the gala. He was also near his daughter, Eugenie, who had just moved to New York. Now, things get fuzzy. Meghan was at that gala, but if you look at Getty photos or news pictures, there's no sign of her. No red carpet pics, no background shots, nothing. It's like she wasn't even there, or more likely, nobody knew who she was yet. The only photo of her is one she supposedly paid for herself just to prove she was there. It's the same deal every time. She's at these fancy events with big shots and billionaires, but she's never in the official photos. It's like she was always someone's plus one, close to the action, but not really in the spotlight. That wasn't the only time either. In 2015, Meghan was at the big opening of Soho House in Istanbul. It was a huge deal with tons of famous people, even some British royals. Prince Charles and Harry were said to be in Turkey that same weekend. Meghan posted a picture with actor Eddie Redmayne from the event, and the Daily Mail wrote about it. Guess what? They named everyone in the photo except Meghan. They didn't even know who she was. This was when she was supposedly at her most famous from Suits, but they were writing her out of the show. Then there's the yacht thing again, way before she was royal. Meghan was seen on a fancy yacht in the Mediterranean with Karina Shulio, Epstein's last girlfriend. That trip supposedly had Epstein himself, and Prince Andrew might have joined them at some point. One picture shows Meghan sitting on the deck in a white hat, smiling next to people whose names still sound shady. Nothing's proven, but the people, the timing, and the trips match up a little too perfectly. By 2013, Meghan wasn't just going to cool events. She was getting into places most struggling actresses could only dream about. Fashion Week, charity parties, and elite Soho House events weren't normal for someone with just a few minutes on Suits. One event really stood out, a royal ballet show in New York. Meghan was there, chatting with fancy people, but she was still called a model actress in the news. Not a TV star, not a special guest, just model actress. She was there, but not a big deal. Nobody really noticed her. The people she hung out with got even more interesting. She was often seen with people close to Harvey Weinstein, including his ex-girlfriend, who owned a fashion brand Meghan wore a lot. Those connections weren't random. They were planned. If Meghan wanted to get famous, these were the people she needed to know. Invites didn't just happen. Someone had to get her in. And a lot of those someones were tied to Prince Andrew or his rich friends, like Ron Burkle, the billionaire who runs Soho House. He's the one who supposedly flew Meghan to Jamaica for a wedding she crashed with Harry. Harry took a regular plane, but she flew fancy. Eugenie, Fergie, and yeah, Andrew were at that wedding too, but they weren't in any public photos. It's not that they weren't there. They just didn't want to be seen. The same thing happened at a bunch of other events Meghan went to, always with someone important enough to get her in. But she never got the big attention. Her sorority friends said she'd vanished from college for weeks, coming back with stories of Mediterranean trips and Thailand adventures. Nobody believed her back then. It sounded like she was making it up. Yachts with billionaires, staying in fancy houses, meeting royalty? Too wild. But years later, when names like Yuan Elish, Andrew's rich buddy, started coming up tied to the same places and events Meghan talked about, those stories started sounding more real, especially since Yuan was known for hanging out with American sororities and paying for big weekend trips for certain people. Then there's Deepak Chopra, another weird connection. On Meghan's 40th birthday, he posted about giving 40 minutes of mentorship to honor her. But that's not the crazy part. Deepak Chopra was also listed as getting quiet charity money from Epstein, along with Elton John and others tied to royalty and rich people. The same crowd Meghan kept showing up around way before she was royal. It wasn't just who Meghan knew. It was how easily she moved through these fancy places without leaving a big trace. Most people didn't even know she existed until she and Harry got together. But behind the scenes, she'd already met the right people, gone to the right parties, and gotten close to royal circles for years. By the time she and Harry went public, some insiders weren't surprised. They were just shocked it took so long. So, back to the big question. Was Harry really that clueless? Did he actually think he was showing Meghan the royal world for the first time? Or did he just not want to ask the tough questions? Because when the same woman who supposedly partied with Andrew's rich friends is suddenly acting like she doesn't know who's standing next to his grandma, it's either the worst acting ever or the smartest move she's ever made.